like Clark, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual.
What is going on, guys? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be going over the difference of the building meta from old building to this new building in season 8 and 9, which is absolutely incredible. The difference between what it was like back then and what it is now is absolutely crazy, and I'm going to be going over a couple things that have changed and have improved so much. If you want to stick around for that, make sure that's the like button, make sure that subscribe button, and use creator code WraithFN in the item shop. Now let's get into it. So building has evolved in so many ways, from ramp rushes, 90-degree turns, high ground retakes, so much. And the big reason, I think the reason for that is because one, we didn't have playground or creative mode, so we couldn't grind build battles, we couldn't practice high ground retakes, we couldn't grind 90s for 5 hours straight or whatever it is. Number two is people weren't going that try hard, they were more playing for fun, and there wasn't that many build battles. There's more people just having fun, enjoying the game, not really grinding that much. And number three, the biggest reason I think, is because there was no turbo building. So basically every single time you wanted to place a build, you had to click every single time. Like, it was pretty incredible, it was pretty difficult. But yeah, it's definitely changed over the time. And the first thing we're going to get into, and the biggest difference I think out of all the building meta, is the 90-degree turns. So right now is honestly the biggest meta of 90-degree turns, and so many people are using 90s almost in every single fight. Like, the main thing you do to take high ground in a fight or just try and like outbuild your opponent is 90-degree turns. Now there are dozens of 90s discovered right now. The most like normal ones I'd say are the classic 90s, Mongrel's 90s, or Ghost Bizzle's 90s. Now back in season 4, season 3, or season 5, there was no such thing as a 90. Like, it was pretty incredible. Everyone trying to build is just so funny watching. Like, people will watch now and be like, oh my god, if I played back then, I would have been the best player in the world, right? That's what everyone thought, and that's what I think too. But basically the 90-degree back then was literally just building a 1x1 consistently, like trying to build 5 or 6 1x1s, and basically whoever built that quickest and whoever got that quick would be the top player, and who would be at the very high ground, right? So Myth, I'll show you guys the old clip, but Myth was an absolute god back then, right? Everyone thought he was the best player in the world, and his building was just so far, like, so much better than everyone else. Like, for example, in this clip, he's building a 1x1 to height, and everyone was just so impressed doing it. But now there's so many ways that we know is way quicker and way easier to take height. Now the next big thing I think has changed, and this one's again pretty big as well, is ramp rushes. Now the way that we started an engagement back then from nowadays is absolutely crazy, the difference. Back then, if you could simply double ramp while pushing a player, you were considered a very good player. Now as the meta evolved, it kind of went from double ramping to double ramping with walls in front, which Hamlin's was the first person to actually discover this. Well, not discover it, but start doing it consistently. To the double floor wall ramp, which again, only the top tier players could do. Like, back then, if you saw a double ramp wall floor coming towards you, you basically were running. You're like, oh my god, I'm dead, or this guy's ninja, or this guy's TSM myth right now, because this guy is absolutely crazy, right? Nowadays, people just use a simple floor wall ramp to save mats because it's the easiest. It's still pretty protected. Now some of them will still use double floor wall ramps to this day, just because depends on the scenario, might need it. But the biggest thing that's changed is back then, like, doing a simple floor wall, like 2 of them, was absolutely incredible. When now we have content creators such as Beaks, who literally does the absolutely mind-blowing ramp rushes. Like, obviously a lot of them aren't really useful, but they're just crazy, because back then, when simply doing a double floor wall ramp was absolutely incredible and people are like, oh my god, how is this guy doing it, to now where Beaks can do, for example, the Dorito ramp rush or another ramp rush. I'll show them on the screen right now, but it's absolutely incredible what like people can actually do now with ramp rushes, especially with turbo building, and what people have come up with. It's absolutely incredible what they can do. Now the third craziest thing I think has changed is high ground retakes. Now back in the day, again, like I kind of said in the first part, high ground retakes or even takes was simply just trying to build a 1x1 as quickly as possible you can, hope they don't shoot above you, or they build a ramp above themselves and then ramp out a couple more and then start building a 1x1 again. That was the main way. And then another one would be double ramp outwards, or just ramp solely outwards and then do a 180-degree turn and then ramp back towards the other player, hoping that you got above him, that you ramped quicker than him, etc., etc. Nowadays, obviously, there are so many ways to do high ground retakes. For example, Sway is probably the most known guy in the world right now for his high ground retakes, because he just does them so quick. He has like 5 or 6 in his forte that he can just pull out whenever he wants to, and it'll just normally retake high ground every single time. But it's just incredible watching all the new ways people are finding high ground retakes. Like literally, if you watch Reddit, if you watch YouTube, even on Twitch, for example, Sway, like I said, if you watch them or watch these articles, there's always, literally every single day, high ground retakes getting discovered and new ones coming to light, and seeing which one is actually worth it or which one's not worth it, because obviously some of them are hard to do, or some of them you wouldn't really do in a real fight. But yeah, back then it's just crazy thinking that people would double ramp in 180. Now obviously some people still do it now, but the good players know that there's tons of other ways, and the good player will actually have 1 or 2 different things kind of to do with high ground retake. Last one I'm going to talk about today is turtling and 1x1ing. And for the first thing, 1x1ing hasn't changed that much. Like, people still do the exact same 1x1s that they've done back in the day in Season 2, Season 3. There's not too much you can do like differently. For example, all you're going to do is build 4 walls, a floor, a roof, and then a floor on the top just to cover the roof. That hasn't changed too much. Like, it's still the same thing. There's not really much else you can do. Like, a couple people figured out ways to like edit cones to kind of make it an easier way, but not many people do that. So 1x1 is kind of the same thing. Like, there has been different ways discovered now to peek out of a 1x1. Back in the day, you'd normally just edit a window or like the very top or whatever, or if you're really good, you'd edit through the top and then shoot through the pyramid. Now there's tons of different ways you can just like figure out how to shoot through your 1x1 without other people seeing you, how you can give the best possible sight, like that trick I showed you where you can edit the rooftop and kind of see everyone around you. Pretty incredible, all the things that people are figuring out. And then turtling has changed so tremendously, and the reason for that, I think, is because the #1 reason is that before, like, I think season 5 or season 6, I think it was, there was no moving zones. Like, the zone just got smaller, and it wouldn't move out to the zone. It just eventually like shrunk until there was nothing left. Then you had to out heal the storm. But now obviously there's moving zones, so people have to practice turtling. They have to figure out more, or tunneling, sorry, not turtling. They have to figure out how to tunnel far distances, how to like not 1x1 but build ramp or walls on the side, as well as a floor and a ceiling above you so people can't shoot down on you. It's been a super difficult meta to get used to. I know a lot of pro players fell off when they were back in the game in Season 5 and Season 6, and they were really good. And then once they started to get into the move and zone time, where you had to learn how to tunnel and you had to learn when to rotate and stuff, it just got crazy, and a lot of pros kind of fell off because they just couldn't keep up with this building meta. Because it's not something you have to like, it's not something you have to work on physically. It's more something you have to know what turtle to do and when to tunnel and when not to tunnel. Pretty incredible. The tunneling nowadays is honestly pretty crazy. The stuff people can do, like Benji Fishy, Mr. Savage, they're so quick with their edits to make actually tunneling as quick as possible. Like Mongrel literally has an earthquake every single time he tunnels. But yeah, the building meta has changed a ton since the earlier season, and I honestly think it will continue to change every season. As more people figure out high ground retakes, as more people figure out ways to peek out of a 1x1 or do faster 90s, like they'll literally time it to the millisecond to see which one's quickest. I think it's going to continue to change. There's not really something that will make it stop, unless, like, for example, Fortnite does something where literally they take out building or something, which, hey, you never know what they're going to do nowadays. But yeah, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you smash a like button on it. Make sure you comment what you want to see for your future video. Excuse me, like I say, every single video, I always read your guys' comments. I try my best to reply to all of them. If I don't, I apologize, but I do try my best. And yeah, make sure you use creator code WraithFN in the item shop to show your support to me. It means the world to me every single time you purchase something. Let me know in the comments if you do. And that brings us to the end of the video. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Have a good one, everyone.